What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right. So before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to Elijah for his contribution to the channel. All right. So shout out to Elijah. I saw your video idea. It's a good one. I'll probably do that video this weekend. All right. So, Elijah is one of the most frequent, if not the most frequent contributors to this channel. He's been a long time subscriber and supporter of this channel since the Warrior the Golden State Warriors first made their run. I think back in 2015, 2016 is when he started, following this channel. So he's been here for a while. And I'd like to thank all you guys that support this channel. Not just from a contributing standpoint, just video suggestions, interaction, talking basketball, talking other things as well. I want to give my shout out to all you guys. I want to give a shout out to all you guys over on the Patreon. All right, I'm going to do a Patreon video later on today. Without you guys, there'd be no Too Raw for TV channel, and without you guys, there would be no LDBC. So I want to thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. So I got to talk about Dame Lillard. Okay, Dame Lillard is showing that he does have that Mamba and MJ mentality, and that is something that is sorely lacking in today's NBA. I mean, yeah, you have a lot of pretenders. You have a lot of guys who, constantly tweet that they have that mentality and want to give you that. You have subordinates and plants in the media that want to, beat you over the head to make you think that certain guys have that mentality. But there are few and far between. All right, as far as guys nowadays that are willing to take that criticism, whether they fail, you know what I'm saying? But without that fear of failure, because they don't have that fear of failure, that's why more often than not they succeed. And you gotta give props to Dame Lillard. At this point, if you don't like Dame Lillard, and I'm noticing it's what you normally see, you know what I'm saying? The people who don't like Dame Lillard right now, they you know what I'm saying, look, they're usually LeBron James, jockstrap, suckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the shine isn't on a particular player, they resent it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else can get any shine other than number 23 from LA. But Dame Lillard has really taken over the NBA. He's the hottest player in the NBA. And shout out to Ticket TV. Subscribe to Ticket TV if you're not subscribed to him. And I got to get on his channel, man. I haven't been on his channel in a while. I got to get on there. I agree with him when he says that Dame is right now probably the best player in the NBA. And he is better than LeBron James right now. Now, I'm not talking from a historical standpoint. I'm not saying that. I'm saying right now. Okay? Right now, he's better. Okay? And if you can't quite grasp what I'm saying, Wizards Jordan wasn't better than Tracy McGrady. But historically, McGrady's nowhere near Jordan. You get what I'm saying? Okay? So if you can't grasp what I'm saying, I'm sorry. Leave me. But Damian Lillard tied his career high with 61 points against the Dallas Mavericks. And the Dallas Mavericks are no pushovers, to say the least. And he tied his career high at 61 points. And with that performance, the Portland Trailblazers are right now in the playoffs. Remember, this is a team that when play resumed was 6.5 games, out of I believe the 8th spot. So Dame Lillard literally has put this team on his back with some help from Carmelo Anthony. It has to be mentioned. Carmelo Anthony, all the people, you know what I'm saying, that were saying this guy was washed up and, that he didn't belong to the NBA anymore. For a guy that was out the NBA for over a year, and I'm guessing off the top of my head, Carmelo's averaging 16, 17 points a game right now for the season. That don't sound like a washed up guy to me, especially when you consider the fact that a lot of his shot attempts are limited because of the play of Lillard and McCollum. So if he was playing on another team, Carmelo would easily average 20 points. Easily. But, people, whatever. This was Lillard's second straight game of at least 50 points. This was his third 60-point game of the season. And with that, he becomes only the second player with three 60-point games in a season. The only other guy to do it was Wilt Chamberlain. In 61-62, Wilt had 15 games of 60 points or more. In 62-63, the forgotten other high-scoring season Wilt had when he averaged almost 45 points a game. He did it 9 times. So, yeah, and to clarify, if we're not mistaken, Jordan, Kobe, Harden have had multiple games of 60 points. But they did it twice in the season. Lillard has done it now. He's done it now on 3 occasions this season. And with the 61 points, I believe this is Lillard's 11th career 50-point game. So that puts him one behind LeBron James. And the way he's playing, he might pass LeBron, very soon in that regard. I'm going to tell you something, man. Lillard is what Westbrook would be if he had a higher basketball IQ and an outside shot. The mentality is similar, except for that Lillard lets the game come to him more often, although he does sometimes get caught up in hero ball. But generally speaking, he lets the game come to him a little bit more, and he has a higher basketball IQ than Russell Westbrook. But I do love guys like that, So that's why I have a soft spot in my heart for a guy like Russell Westbrook, even though I know he screws up a lot. You know what I'm saying? And but Dame Lillard, I mean, I don't know what else to say about him, man. Um, he definitely is a throwback guy. He's a throwback player, and he reminds you of guys, before this era, before the teaming up era. Like Dame is determined to create his own legacy. He wants to be his own lead dog. And you can also tell the influence of a guy like Kobe Bryant on Lillard. Guys, have you ever noticed that players that are influenced by Kobe or had a relationship with Kobe, like a Lillard, like a Leonard, they are not relegated to being anybody's second banana. You feel me? Like, remember, I think Kobe was asked this not too long before he died. He was asked about whether or not he would have ever come back to be on the bench and maybe ride to a championship. He was like, nope, I want to do mine the hard way. I'd rather get mine the hard way. And I think that's what Lillard is, his mindset is. He doesn't, I think with Dame Lillard, he wants the satisfaction of having to go through the grind of a regular season and going through the grind with, maybe even the odds against him, or at least, you know, like this is the thing that a lot of younger people don't quite understand. LeBron, if you listen to that comment that he made when he said that when I won that championship against the Warriors, that made me the GOAT right there. Okay, that was kind of egotistical of him to say, but the fact that he put so much value on that championship tells you that it was so much more personally satisfying than those Miami Heat championships. Because at the end of the day, Boston made you run. Boston made you run out of Boston. I mean, excuse me, Boston made you run out of Cleveland and join with another guy's team. And while you did win 2 championships there, by most people's account who are actually being honest, you kind of underachieved there. You guys should have won at least 3 or really all 4 championships. So you underachieved there. But, you know what I'm saying, you guys had the odds stacked against you against that Warriors team, at least in most people's eyes. And so that was a more satisfying victory. So Dame Lillard wants to establish a winning culture, and he wants to do some big things there in Portland. And, you know, will he ever get there? I don't know. I don't know if he's ever going to win a championship. Um, I thought, honestly, 10 years ago, Chris Paul would win a championship eventually. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen with Chris Paul. Um, but Dame Lillard is a tremendous basketball player. And right now, you look at what he's doing this season. He's averaging almost 30 points a game. He can really, and this is another thing I want to say too. Oh, I gotta touch on James Harden. When you look at the fact that supposedly and I know this touched on Dame Lillard, that the last 3 finalists for MVP supposedly are Giannis, LeBron, and James Harden. But you look at James Harden, right? For the most part, most of his big scoring performances come against teams where there's not much at stake and they're bottom dwellers. You know what I'm saying? They're the dregs of the NBA. Like how many times did James Harden score big against the lowly Knicks or Memphis? You know, and how many times did he bring up his A game against the upper echelon teams? That's what made Michael Jordan so memorable. Is that most of his 50-point games came against good teams. And Michael could have padded his stats against bad teams, but he didn't really usually do that. For the most part, I remember when the Bulls were playing bad teams, unless the game was close for some reason, he might score 18, 19, sit on the bench in the fourth quarter. Whereas a guy like James Harden, he would have thought, oh man, this team is last defensively. They don't guard the 3 well. Well, I'm going to take 35 shots this game, at least. I'm going to take 23s. I'm going to get 50 points. And if he gets yanked with 47 with 8 minutes to go, he gets mad. That's a loser's mentality. When you're all about stats, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people don't like my stance on James Harden, but he's a selfish fucking ball hog. And for the most part, I just can't see him ever winning a championship. To be honest with you, the Kevin McHale version, when Kevin McHale was the coach of that team, when James Harden was averaging like 28, 29, and he still had the mid-range game, and he was mixing it up more, he would, very infrequently, but even sometimes, even if it was just, to make the defense honest, sometimes James Harden would even go in the post at times when Kevin McHale was there. It was more fundamental when Kevin McHale was there. But since D'Antoni's got there, and I guess in a lot of ways you can't even blame D'Antoni as much as you do, Daryl Morey and them, because they're insistent on running that stupid fucking offense. Well, man, I'm going on a tangent. I'll get off that. This ain't a video about James Harden. But at the end of the day, Dame Lillard is scoring big, but he's scoring in games that matter. These are games that people are going to remember when they talk about Damian Lillard's legacy. They're going to remember that stretch, man, when Dame Lillard scored all those points, man, 50, 60, when Portland was about to, be, put out the playoffs, and he put the team on his back, and him and Carmelo, you know what I'm saying? And remember that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what people remember. People don't remember. Hey, remember when James Harden scored 61 against that whack ass Knick team? Not really. But that's just my perspective. Tell me what you guys think.